Hello everyone, this is Meg at Chasing Retro, and I have a collective haul to share with you. These are items that I picked up at various places, including estate sales, one antique store, Walmart, Hobby Lobby, Amazon, and my craft reuse store. This is over the past week and a half or so, but my daughter and I were in another town for an appointment last week, so I was like, why don't we check out their Hobby Lobby in this town? And it was much bigger and nicer and more stocked than any of our Hobby Lobbies near us. And I'm not saying that the ones near us are bad. They're all great. They're all impeccably managed and stocked, but this one was above and beyond. So I found a few items there for the journals, and I'm not going to show everything I got at Hobby Lobby because honestly I've already put some of it in the boxes and bins that I am putting things for, making sure I have everything ready. But I did pick up some glitter glue there to see how it compared to Stickles, and I also picked up some glittery tulle, but I'm sure all of you have seen that or bought that at Hobby Lobby, so I won't be showing that. The first thing I'll show is this 1980 Good Housekeeping magazine. This was at an antique store and it was only $1. And I honestly just got this because I wanted to have a magazine with ads from the early 80s that I could pull from that I could put in my 80s childhood journals. And there are a few in here. There are also a few little pages of Holly Hobby sort of sewing outfit ideas that were really cute, so I might pull those. Now, magazine pages can be very thin, so to put them in a journal, you usually need to bolster where you fold them if they're really brittle. Sometimes I'll just fold them in half or in quarters and tuck them in a pocket so the recipient can do what they would like with the magazine page, or maybe just have it to unfold and look at as a piece of ephemera. But I figured for $1 it was worth grabbing this. I forgot. I did buy one thing at Ollie's. Our Ollie's is not like some of the Ollie's that I've seen you guys have in your towns. Our Ollie's is just, I don't even see how they stay open. It's so disorganized, and just all the good things that people say are coming into their Ollie's, I never see in ours. I don't go in super often, but I did go in this week because I was looking to see if any of those Park Lane paper pads had made it in that I guess they bought out from Joann's. Nada. They had a few little pack of 25 American Crafts brands cardstock, like the textured Swiss dot looking cardstock, but they were all fall colors. And I didn't need any of that, so I didn't buy anything in that department. But I did get this book. I think it was $1.99. And I got it, number one, just to reminisce, because I used to love Cabbage Patch Kids and I had a lot of these items. We lived near the Babyland General Hospital, which is still going, by the way, guys, and it's free admission. So if you ever find yourself in North Georgia mountains or near there, you need to go. It's quite the experience. When I was going as a child, it was in an old house that had been sort of turned into the, quote, hospital and museum. So you felt like you were walking into a hospital from the 1940s or 50s in a small town. They ended up leaving that location and building a gigantic building. And I took my daughter when she was about 7 or 8. I will say it is still quite magical, but it has lost that old town, small town, historical hospital feel. But it's still, if you have children or grandchildren that like Cabbage Patch Kids, or you had them growing up and you just want to, celebrate the nostalgia, I would recommend still going. It's still interesting. But I think if you Google the original Babyland General Hospital in Cleveland, Georgia, you can see photographs of what it used to look like. And I have pictures of myself inside there when my mom and dad and also my grandparents took me. But that was just a random side note. At Walmart, I ordered, I ended up just ordering and having it delivered. I ordered neon index cards and neon copy paper for the 80s journals. That's not super exciting other than the fact that I remember taking notes on these and making flashcards for school. I loved the neons. So I got those. The copy paper has already been opened and distributed among some of the journals, so I won't show that. At Hobby Lobby, I ended up getting 2 packs of stickers. They're called retro roller skates, I think. They're so cute. When I saw them online, I kind of make a list online before I go into the store. I thought they were puffy, and they weren't. I guess they're slightly raised, very slightly raised, but not nearly like what I thought they were going to be. But they're still really cute. And then I got these ponies, and they have sort of embossed, glittered hair. And the star, some of the comet behind the star is glittered and raised. So those will be for the 80s journals. I also got some puffy hearts, but my daughter has confiscated those and has those over where she is working on her My Little Pony journal, which she is having a blast with, by the way. When she's done, she has graciously offered to do a flip through for y'all. Let me think. What else did I get at Hobby Lobby? It was mainly just things like ribbon. I got a lot of ribbon for the 80s journals. Pastel ribbon, glitter ribbon, rainbow stripe ribbon. I probably spent most of my money on ribbon this time. I had some affiliate cash to spend on Amazon, so I bought this pack of holographic, that's not right, iridescent cellophane in a duo pack with multicolored cellophane. I love using cellophane for lots of things. In fact, I used to have betta fish, and one of the fun things that I used to like to do is to put cellophane over his light in his aquarium and change the color of his aquarium. I know that's really random and weird, but that's one of the things I enjoy using it for back in the day, and I got rid of all what I had, so it was kind of nice to replenish for crafting purposes. I wouldn't say that it's super high quality. They all came folded in half, which I hate because then you end up having crease lines, and there's really no way to get that out without like putting it between layers of towels and trying to iron it out, and even then you may mess up something. But the iridescent is just phenomenal. It has made amazing ruffles, and my daughter actually made a shaker card with it. It was a little hard to see the image through it, but it still turned out really cool as a shaker card topper. At Dollar Tree, I picked up, let me see, I picked up some, did I get a ribbon at Dollar Tree? I think I did find some rainbow with cloud ribbon at Dollar Tree, and I've already put it in my ribbon box, but I also picked up these 2 table covers, and I thought we would cut these into strips and make ruffles out of them as well. You could also glue it down onto cardstock and make tags. But I love the holographic glitter. And this was just interesting. When I saw it, I thought about My Little Pony colors. Sort of the magenta with the ombre effect. So I grabbed that as well. We have not opened those yet. All right, next up is estate sale. My husband and I were in another town getting our vehicle serviced. And while we were there, we're like, well, while we're here, we might as well see what estate sales are nearby. And it was Friday, so we were like, well, maybe we can find some estate sales that Friday is the day too, because I just don't like to pay full price at an estate sale unless it's something like I really, really would like to have. And we did. We found 2 of them that were second day sale of 3, 2 of 3 day, and they were 25% off everything over $1. Both of them were, I think. Or one was 25% over $5, one was 25% over $1. So we found a few items. My husband found some CDs, yay. And I found a few fun things for journaling. I found these. I already had some of these in my stash, but the box that I had was not even half full when I bought it, so I grabbed this. And I used to be a notary. This would have been kind of fun to have when I was notarizing things, but you guys let me know how, other than putting this through an embossing machine, like what other fun things could I do with these? Let me know. They were too cheap not to get, but okay, so in the closet, like the master bedroom closet, there was a bag at the top, like on the top shelf, and I could see kind of through it, so I could tell that there was wallpaper in there. And I grabbed it, and she said, everything in this closet is $1 each, no matter what it is. And I was like, well, I guess that means the whole bag. So I ended up pulling out 2 wallpaper borders and donating the rest to my craft reuse store, just because it was more of a late 90s into 2000s pattern that I would not use, and colors I really don't like. So the 2 that I kept, one, I don't know where I put it. It's probably on my 80s journal cart, but it is very 80s. It's kind of that watercolor brushed look. But look at this one. I could not get over how adorable this one was. And so for the bag, you know, I paid $1 for the bag, and I got 2 rolls of really usable, really beautiful border, and I thought that was worth $1, and then I donated the rest. But that's the beautiful thing about the craft reuse store. Though I don't really like the paisley boho look, someone is going to come in the store, and that's going to be exactly what they're looking for their project. So in the little office area, I found, not really exciting to show, but I found a whole box of onion skin typewriter paper, which I've never found. And it was $5, but of course it was 25% off because it was over $1. So I thought that was a really good deal, especially because of the fact that I never ever find it. I love using typewriter paper in my journals, but I only have like 1 box of 10 or 20, and I've only used 1 sheet of that. So now I can feel more comfortable about using them more liberally because I have more to pick from. But look at this card. I guess it's a card. It's like a book card. Do y'all remember those? American Greetings, 1971. It's really hard to see. I don't have my glasses on. Look at this. I don't know why the pages are double. Like when I first saw it, I wondered, is it a poster? But I don't think it folds out. I think it was just printed on one side only for some reason. But I love the bold, bright colors. I love the font. And I guess this would have been given to somebody who would have been born around 1900, obviously, but if they're like 71, maybe when the card. So obviously it's got sort of the turn of the century look to it. The cars. This just reminds me of Great Gatsby. See, Packards. My great granddaddy was a Packard mechanic. So cool. Milk caps with cream on the top. Jitterbugs. 40 question mark? To Doug from your Love Your Brother Mush. I'm sure there's a story behind that, but really fun. I just love little quirky pieces of ephemera like that. I found this amazing upholstery material. It's one strip that's about 18 inches by probably 40 inches. It is lime green. I'd say more lime than avocado green. And it looks like something that you would upholster like a swivel rocker with. And I love it. It's very thick. It'd be probably too thick to cover a journal. You'd have to really know what you were doing to fold it over the corners. I guess you could just make a journal where you just have the edges raw, or put seam binding or something and have it not folded. I don't know. Give me your thoughts on that. But I mainly got it for pockets. I thought it'd make really, really cool pockets for oversized journals. But I just couldn't leave it sitting there. I knew that it would end up in the trash if nobody else bought it. Look at this beautiful Waverly fabric. It's called Quaker Bouquet. And I'm assuming it's late 70s, early 80s, but I'm not sure. It is in fantastic shape. There was no odor. There were no stains, no discoloration of any kind. I guess it was kept inside in temperature controlled environment, but it is a lot. It's probably 3 yards, maybe 4. And I'm thinking about parceling this up and putting a piece or 2 in my shop because I'll never use all of this. But it's so pretty. It just, to me, it says I need to be made into a fall journal. I don't really love making fall journals, but I know some of you do and make them every year. But I just think it's lovely. Very, very pretty. I found this. I've been wanting this pattern of vintage sheet for a long time. I ended up finding this. It was being kept in the garage in totes. So when I got it, it looked fine on the outside. When I got home and unfolded it, it had mildew in it. And there was one square about this size that evidently had been stored in the sun. And it is almost completely bleached white by the sun. So where this is pink, it would be like barely yellow. But that's okay. It is a king size, which honestly, you don't really find many vintage king size sheets. And it's, you know, the top border is still intact and everything. But my grandma used to have these sheets in double size. And when they got worn out, she took the pillowcases and she turned them into nightgowns for me. I know you guys are familiar with what I'm talking about. She cut the short end off and put a drawstring in it for my neck and sort of to tighten up around my neck. And then the bottom of the nightgown came to my knees and it was that pink band. I loved that nightgown. I wore it, I think she made me 2 of them. I wore them until they literally fell apart. I loved that nightgown, but I've been looking for a sheet in that pattern just for that reason, and I found one after 3 years of looking. The last thing I'll show you is my craft reuse store. I did not volunteer this past week. I did not feel well. I had sort of pulled my back out or slept crooked. You know, when you get to be over 40, you're like, I might have just slept wrong, and that's how I injured myself. But I was literally like, could not turn my head all the way around, and I was like, it'd be dangerous to get on the interstate and try to navigate through heavy traffic if I can't see, you know, through the blind spot to change lanes. So I stayed home this week. So this is all from last week, but I did find a few treasures and they're still in the bag, so it's time to unpack them and put them away. I found this fat quarter, and I'm assuming this is probably originally from like a crib sheet or something, but it is clown fabric. I know a lot of people don't care for clowns. I don't mind them. This is 1985, so it's very 80s, and I thought I might just put some of these in, make them into journaling cards, kind of like I did with the Big Bird crib sheet, make them into fun-shaped journaling cards for the 80s journals. The colors are really good for it, and of course it says 1985 on it. I don't know how many times it says that, but that was a really cute piece of fabric. I found this in the scrap bin. This is very 90s, but nevertheless, I'll probably still put this in the 80s journals because late 80s to early 90s Barbie kind of, they weren't that different to me as far as like the colors used and everything. I don't know, maybe she is 80s because we've got this little side ponytail thing going on, but I thought it was fun. It's flannel. And then the Barbie font is still in the, it's italicized, but it is still the original Barbie font, or the one from the 80s that I remember. So I thought that was a fun little piece, and I'll wash it up and use it in the 80s journals. I went in there looking for some granny squares, and I found some. I thought about tucking a couple of these in the 80s journals just because I feel like every home and every bed in every grandma's house had a quilt made out of these. And these were just fun. I think they're coasters. And I have a basket of handmade, sort of like earth or 70s colored round coasters, and I thought I might toss these in there. They're like tie-dye. They're so fun. And then this was also in the box of granny squares, and it is not a granny square, it is a doily, but I hardly ever find variegated pink doilies, so I grabbed it. Okay, this was also in the scrap box. I think it's a vintage sheet. Look at these beautiful daisies. This must be the selvage edge. Yeah, it is. Beautiful daisies. My favorite color combo, orange, yellow, and olive green. And though there is really not a part on here that's the full image because it's such a weird shaped scrap, I can still cut this and use parts of it to decorate the edge of the page or whatever. I got more of this. I think I showed some of this last time I showed a reuse haul, but this is very not 80s, but it just goes with the 80s journals, so I'm going to use them. I'll probably do some shape journaling cards like I did with the like I'll do with the clown fabric also. And they're just 2 narrow long strips, and I hope I have 8 or 9 that I can have for journals. I'm making 8 to sell, and I'm making 1 for myself, so I'm making 9 total. I don't know if I've told y'all how many. After I did the Sesame Street journals, I said I would never make that many again, but I'm almost at that point again. I don't know. I just had a lot of 80s stuff, and it to me, I talked it over with my husband. It would have been silly to not make at least 6, and so I was like, if I'm doing 6, I might as well make 8. So I went ahead and decided to do that. Okay, this was my splurge buy. You guys know that almost every time I go to the craft reuse store, I sort of find one thing that I call my splurge. This was it this week. I think it might be feed sack. If you guys know feed sack patterns, let me know. Judging from the fact that it was priced what it was for a yard, I think whoever priced it probably knew that it was feed sack. But I could be wrong. It's just very, very, very loose weave. It just has that feed sack feel to it and look, honestly, too. And I'm assuming it's a full yard that's not cut weird, but we'll see when I unroll it. But that was my splurge, because I've found feed sack quilt squares in the wild, but I don't think I've ever found it like an unused piece before, if that's what that is. Another scrap, some lame, I guess that's how you say that. Really fun. I forgot this was in there. I really need to cut this and make it into some ruffles for my daughter's journal. She, what is the pony that has a lot of this color? I think it's pink, no, Twilight Sparkle. She has sort of that dark magenta, and I think it would make a really fun ruffle. The only drawback with lame is how heavy it is. So if you make a ruffle out of it, it's going to weigh a page down unless it's cardstock. It also would make a fun pocket. So that's a lot for a scrap piece. I found these stamps, and these will be used in the 80s journals. I guess this is a border, that one as well. And this is probably just, you could embellish the bottom of a pocket with this, or you could do it twice along the edge of a page. I would love to try to figure out how to do this in an ombre fashion, sort of a rainbow, graduated rainbow effect, but I don't know how to do that, and I don't have any ombre ink pads. So give me all your tips for creating an ombre effect without sort of getting your ink, one color of ink onto another ink pad. I guess you could use a dauber. Like if you have the little fingertip daubers, you can just do that. I don't know. Give me your tips on that. I've never heard of this brand, but I thought it was really cute. I found this bag of beads, and they are not vintage, but they certainly fit the 80s feel. There's butterflies, hearts, and stars, and they're pearlescent, so that'll be fun. This is not for the 80s journals, but I would like to make some more beach / summer / maybe mermaid journals. I don't know if I'll get to it right now this summer or if I'll have to wait, but these were plastic, but honestly they almost look porcelain, just the way they're almost like a I don't know what I'm trying to say, the porcelain that is, oh my goodness, the name just left me, like the blue with the white and it feels unglazed. Wedgwood, that's it. I almost said Watergate. Wedgwood. It has a Wedgwood look to it, and I love that. So, okay, they had some Christmas stuff. I think I showed y'all last time I went. I found some Christmas stuff. They had more. They had some of the Tim Holtz Christmas, y'all, and I have never been able to score this. I've tried ordering it. I tried ordering from Joann's one time. My order got canceled. I tried ordering from scrapbook.com and they were all sold out. So I don't know how old this is. I think he recently retired his paper making embellishment type stuff. So these are probably over the past 3 or 4 years, I'm guessing, but I've never found any till now. So I'm very excited. I got this bag of ephemera. I got this pad of stickers, which is, I love the phrases. I use my phrase book all the time. I didn't know they made a Christmas version, so I'm very excited. And then we've got these little reproduction gift tag stickers and these seals and mailing labels and letters. And then I got this. I could not believe it when I saw this. They had 3 or 4 different styles to pick from, and I was like, I'm not going to be greedy. I'm just going to get one, because it's going to make somebody's day if they walk up on this and they've never found it like me. So I got this set, and to me it just felt most like the feel of the type of Christmas journals that I like to make. It looks very 1930s and 40s. And I left the other 2 there, but I didn't even know he made the wallpaper in Christmas, so that was another surprise to me. I guess you can call these splurge items too, because I normally don't buy things 6 months ahead for a journal, but I think this year's going to be a Christmas journal year, so I wanted to be ready. I got this piece of almost like smocked, but it has a sort of an elastic feel to it. It's very boho. And if I don't use it in journals, you can bet your bottom dollar I'm going to be putting this on the hems of jeans and stuff. I just love this. It's just so 70s looking, and it's just another thing that I can put in my stash for altering clothing. And here's another bag of fun stuff. This is, I think I have some of this already, but it's taller or longer, and I had never seen the pink before. I got so excited when I saw this. How cute would this be on the bottom of a towel? I have this color pink in my master bath. My husband is such a sweetheart for letting me put pink in our bathroom. But oh my goodness, I could not pass that by. And I think trims is one of the things that our craft reuse store is the most fair about when it comes to pricing. By far, I have found some of the best deals in the trim section. If there is trim there, we don't often get vintage trims in. We just don't. We get more fabric than trims. But when we do get some, they price it really fairly. The last thing I found, I had to get one of the staff to price for me because it was not priced. It was actually on one of the work tables where I was. And I said, if you can price this, I would love to buy this. And she said she would do it. So this first thing is I don't know, it's just a tag that has an embossed 8 on it. And it does not look old. But look at the rest of these. They look like retail numbers. They may not be, I don't know, but they look like price numbers to me. And these in the back are old. These don't look that old, but these do. And I fell in love with them, and I said, oh my goodness, I need to have this for my retail journals. So I love them. The patina on them is so beautiful, and the scuffed corners. So pretty. Excited about these for my retail journals. So I'll be putting this in my retail folder. That's it, guys. That was about 30 minutes. Went by really fast. Let me know what your favorite item was. I think this might be mine, the feed sack or feed sack. But thanks for joining me as always, guys. I hope you guys are enjoying your week so far. See you in the next one. Bye.